and we are now live on YouTube. So, welcome everyone to another Lightworkers Secret to Success. We are here today to talk about aliens, and I don't know about you guys, but I have a Prime membership, Amazon Prime, and I just finished watching a movie called Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. And if you haven't watched it, it is by Stephen Greer. If you don't know who Stephen Greer is, I would highly recommend to look him up. He was a doctor, a very good doctor, and gave up his whole practice and career to explore aliens and extraterrestrials, and really went down some deep rabbit holes and some dark rabbit holes, and found out just enormous amounts of stuff about the government and their secret programs. And if you haven't watched the movie The Unacknowledged, I would highly recommend you to watch it. And the reason that this kind of hit home is the other night, my wife and I were sitting in the hot tub together, and she actually said to me, why haven't they announced about ETs, and why aren't there more pictures, and why aren't there more of this and more of that? And then sure enough, we come across this video, and I told her in the hot tub, I said, there is, and they have talked about it. It's just that the mainstream media does not want to cover it because it doesn't go with their agenda. So it is out there if you're looking for it. There's tons and tons and tons of information. I have found a lot of the information myself. I am extremely intrigued by it all. And for those of you who don't know, I don't even remember what year it was, 2011, I think it was, there was a big press conference of like 50 top level security people around the world in very high positions in their government that actually had full disclosure that there had been all the secrecy behind ETs. And if you don't know about it, again, I'd highly recommend you to check out that press conference. It wasn't covered by the mainstream media at all, but it is out there, and ETs are real and they are coming. And I watched the video. I know Amanda is almost all the way through it. I know Pamela, I think, is starting to watch it. I know Rebecca's going to watch it, and I think Colette is going to watch it. So, we're all here. I had just finished watching it. I'm pretty excited about it. So we had talked about it, and that's what this topic is all about. So a couple things, just really quick, that really struck me and was really, really huge impact on me was when they're talking about the different levels of close encounters. You have 1 through 5, and basically 5 is actually making contact and communicating with an ET. And just so you know, the mainstream media, the movies, the whatever you want to call it, have been trying to paint aliens in a very hostile way. Like if you look at Independence Day, or if you look at some of these movies that portray aliens that are very aggressive, these ETs are not aggressive. And there's lots of evidence that supports that. ETs, to the best of my knowledge, have taken out every single nuclear weapon that anyone owns on this planet Earth. As far as I know, they don't exist anymore, and the military knows it. They just haven't announced it to anyone. The ETs have disabled them all, and they've disabled them all because if we had nuclear weapons, we would literally blow up our entire planet, which they don't want. But we are slowly but surely finding our way to peace, and we're taking out these evil ones that have been controlling war and famine and all these destructive things that we've been dealing with for the last, I don't know, 200 years roughly. These things are coming out. But so just really quick, with the Close Encounters 5, there's an app that they tell you that you can download at the end, and I've downloaded it. It does cost money to get it. They do walk you through step by step on how to engage with aliens, with ETs. And I want to say, for the record, that I actually did this. I actually followed the procedures, and I've done it the last 2 nights. And it was quite the experience. Just let me tell you, I did it in meditation. You do it through thoughts, and the feeling that I got and what I asked for very specifically, they're helping me, and I feel that they're helping me. I feel that they're now aware of it, and we've decided to start our own group in Acorn Life Mastery that we're all a part of, and we have our own chat group in there, and we're going to start a mastermind on it. So if you're watching this video and you'd like to be a part of it, by all means, please. The more people we have, the vibration can really pick up, and the magnetism to ETs helping us. And I also think this is really important personally. If you want to ascend into the fifth dimension and you want your frequency to change from 3D to 5D, I think this is the quickest and easiest path for you to do, and you get to feel differently. That's all I'm going to say. Is I can't describe it any other way until you actually do it. And I know that some people on here are excited to try it, and they want to see or feel what I felt already. And the part in the movie that probably most impressed me is there was an older gentleman who's basically worn hearing aids since he was in high school. He had a problem with his ears, and he attended one of these ET events, and in the middle of Mojave Desert or wherever they were, I can't remember where they were, but he went into his cabin to go to sleep. He took his hearing aids out, and as soon as he took them out, he could hear someone calling his name. So he went out of the cabin, and he saw in a distance a bright light. That bright light came really close to him, and they had a telepathic conversation back and forth with each other for almost 45 minutes. At the end of it, he had asked the bright light ET, whatever you want to call it, if he could help him fix his ears so he could hear properly again. And he did it almost instantaneously. He went to bed that night, didn't think anything of it, woke up the next day, went to breakfast without his hearing aids on, and he had normal conversations with people for the first time ever. I don't know. To me, that was just like chills going down my spine when I could hear that. And I know that we have the ability to do that right now, but it's been suppressed from us. So that was the one story in the movie that really caught me. Anyone else want to add anything? I know you guys haven't watched the movie yet, but maybe tell us a little bit about your excitement and sort of where you're at with things.
I've just started watching the movie, but I've always known that we had, extraterrestrial. That's never been a what if. It's always been, well, of course we do. And I've seen the lights in the sky at times, and we've even seen things where we've talked, you and I've talked about. But a couple of things that got me. There's another movie out, and I can't right now. The name of it escapes me. Um, because it kind of deals with aliens, but it also kind of deals with time change, time like shifting through time. And I almost want to say it had Jodie Foster in it, and everybody's wanting to wage war against these aliens, and she's actually communicating with them through like numbers or something. And then I liked it. I did start watching the movie today, and I liked how they in the Close Encounters of the Time, he goes into some, like you said, how they always make it look like a bad thing, right? But he talks about, I think it was Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where it shows the alien making the with his hands and stuff and communicating. And he said, "Okay, somebody out there got this right," because he had already been communicating prior to them even acknowledging the movies and stuff. And I think that happens a lot of times. We see things on TV that are like, you and I've talked about how they're made as fictional, but
Mm-hmm.
there's really some truth there. And I think the same thing has happened with like Close Encounter of the Third Kind. um think ET, things like that. I think there's some truth there. People just don't always want to see it.
Yeah, they say that Steven Spielberg's movie, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, was actually kind of based on a true story where back in the 50s, we did an exchange program with planet Serpo. And we sent astronauts to go to this planet that's way out there. It took them quite a few months to get there. And they lived on planet Serpo for a few years. And I've read the stories about this in several different documents and heard people speak about it. The astronauts were all chosen because they were people who had no families. They had been adopted or all their family members were dead. And that way they could go on this secret mission and disappear for a few years and nobody would really notice. It was really interesting. But personally, I've had experiences. I saw 3 UFOs, saucer shaped with domes on top, up close when I was about 18 years old. And as I was looking at them on a clear night, and they came right over my head from out in the ocean, I really felt like I was looking at something from another world. And it opened up my thought so that I can believe anything. And I do believe that I think, and years later, many years later, I belong to MUFON, which is the organization that investigates UFOs. And I used to go to their meetings. And I met this top investigator named Nygaard. And he came to my house and hypnotized me to see if he could take me back to that night to see if I remembered anything that I hadn't consciously remembered. And I started laughing because I saw these 2 beings with those big eyes. And I thought I was just making it up. It just was so funny. I started laughing, but they looked like your classic, E.T. Little space guys. And I've often wondered if I went on board the ship and I forgot about it, but I do know they opened up my thought, and I've been able to look at things from the 5th dimension and higher more clearly because of that experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of people claim it's almost like a religious experience if you see them up close,
Mm-hmm.
because you can't relate it to anything you've ever heard about on planet Earth. It's so unusual, and they don't make any noise. They kind of float like bubbles, in the sky, and they're very quiet, but they can do those right angle turns. That's what I saw them do. And they were blinking, and they were perfect saucers, about the size of a car, 3 of them flying together.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they also talk about so the deep state, the reptilians, whatever you want to call it, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call I just call them evil ones. Let's just put it that way. One of the things that they talk about is there was 4 phases after that UFO crash in the 50s after World War II. First phase, phase 1 was Cold War with Russia. Carry on that as long as possible to create as much fear as possible that there could be a nuclear attack at any time. So that fizzled out in the 80s finally. So that was 30 years or roughly. So when that fizzled out, what was step number 2? Step number 2 was the Vietnam War was part of their plan to keep the war sort of going on. Step number 3 was terrorist attacks, and look at how long they carried that charade on for. That these ISIS and whatever are attacking America and crashing planes in, and when it was just them, crazy ones blowing up their own buildings. And then the last that was stage 2. Stage 3 was have some crazy guy in Asia that is going to attack America. So it's Kim Jong-un, and Trump gets into power and totally squashes that, creates all these friendly relationships with Kim Jong-un, and all of a sudden there's no war with that. So that foiled their plan. And the last stage, from what I heard, is called Project Bluebeam, which is alien crafts that have been manufactured by humans, that humans would be flying, that would come from outer space and attack their own major cities to say, oh, the aliens are attacking us, we need to unite. And that's their last thing that they're going to do. And I think that those plans are being spoiled now by the aliens, by the ETs, because they know that this is part of their plan, and they're not letting them go through with it, because all we need to say is, I do not give consent to this on an energetic level, and there's nothing they can do, right? And so we need to get this message out. I'm also reading a book called Word Magic, and they talk a lot about this stuff. And word magic is very, very simple. By saying nothing means you're giving consent to this. All you need to say on a daily basis is, I do not give consent to the vaccinations. I do not give consent to the fake COVID-19 numbers. I do not give consent to Project Bluebeam. On an energetic level, they cannot move forward with this when even a small majority is against it. They can't do it. It's against the code, the universal code that exists in this this universe, in this entire galaxy, in this entire whatever. It's not there. So I just want to make sure you guys hear that message loud and clear. I do not give consent. There's nothing they can do.
That's I like not only that, but if do you remember in the movie, because you watched the whole thing, I've only watched part of it, but the guy said he was talking to some, and it was some military guy who said, "Well, we're going to do this." He's like, "You don't get it. If they can get here, I mean, faster than the speed of light, do you really think we have anything that could,
Yeah.
to do that, right?" It's like, like you're going to be an ant chiseling away at something or another,
Yeah.
And I'm reading that book too that you're reading, and it's like, yeah, just that awareness that I think sometimes as humans we forget how powerful we are, and we've been conditioned a lot of times just to follow the rules and obey, right from childhood up. You're given all these rules to follow, and so having that ability to just say, no, I don't consent,
Yep.
that's huge. And I think for some people it could even be a little bit scary, because it's like, well, you're going against the status quo. But I want people out there that are hearing this to understand that that's okay, because just because it's the status quo doesn't mean it's what's for our highest and best.
And that's what we need more of today, because we're a nation of sheep. And we all need to snap out of it and realize we are sovereign. Extraterrestrials know that. They practice, they use their superpowers, and we have the same superpowers if we claim them. But if you want to let people tell you what to do and take away your freedom, it's a choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to.
Do you know why they call us sheep, by the way? Sorry, I'll let you go, Colette. Do you know why? You know why that is? Because sheeps are the most easily controlled animals in the entire world. They'll do and listen to anything you want. And guess what? Majority of the humans fell into that trap. They just believed and trusted that their government was going to guide them in the right way. And if you look at the word government, even what it means, and you start to break down those words, you'll see that they are not for our best. They are not. And anyways, go ahead, Colette.
It's okay. It just got super noisy over here anyway. But I was going to say, like, it's interesting that you guys are talking about that, because I feel like I do that automatically. Like, I'll hear things and I'm just like, no, that's not my reality. Just automatically. So yeah, we definitely have sovereignty. And it's so interesting because I haven't had any like personal encounters like that, like with an extraterrestrial or a machine or anything. But I like love those shows, like Ancient Aliens and things like that. And it's just so interesting because I mean, I'm a child of the 80s, and so we've always had like Alf, different alien shows. But it was always like, oh, if you believe in aliens, you're kind of crazy, right? And then, like you were saying, like they've come out now that they like, it's like they're here. It's not a myth. It's not a legend. Like people have actually seen them, and I actually did see it on mainstream media. It's really interesting because like 2 years ago, I remember watching like CNN, and they were like, "Oh yeah, there's aliens," and I remember being so shocked. And I was like, are they serious right now? They're actually like talking about an alien ships on CNN? What is going on? And I actually got a little worried because of what you were saying, how they have this planned attack, that the aliens are going to attack cities, and then we have to come together, but it's all just a staged attack. So I was like, wow, are they really like preparing us for that, to blame like the aliens for this? And I've heard like all the things you were saying about like the alien ships coming down and stopping the nuclear attacks from happening. And it's just, yeah, like it's pretty much like they're here, and it doesn't even make sense to not believe it anymore because there's just so much evidence now. So yeah, it's so cool.
Colette, like you were saying, like when we were all being raised, like in the 80s, we did have Alf, right, and ET, and it made us be aware, right? Like, well, what if there really are aliens, and they're nice, and maybe they just can't communicate. They're trying to communicate with us, but they can't because they don't speak English, and of course. But I know in ET, he tries to communicate, and then I can't remember who plays in that movie. Well, I think Drew Barrymore, but she had a brother, right? And that's who he was in contact with.
Yeah.
They would try to communicate with each other, right? And so I guess as growing up, we've been kind of conditioned to know that there could be other life forms out there, right? But of course, it's with their narrative, right, and how they want us to perceive things. And then, of course, going back to what Adam was speaking about, I have watched a good majority of that, the Close Encounters in the fifth kind. I have 45 more minutes, so I'm going to finish that tonight. And it's really kind of interesting where you said, like, there's communities of people around you that get together and they go out into these open fields and they all meditate together. And so that they said when their vibration gets to a certain point, then, and they're at that vibration for about 30 minutes is when they start to see things. So you can have, it's kind of like our mastermind, like when two or more are gathered in it, in peace and harmony, the mastermind shows up. It's the same kind of thing there. When everybody's in that same vibrational state of consciousness, then the ETs will show up, and we've seen that plenty of times. I see a lot of like homemade YouTube videos, and they're like, what is this and what is that? And I don't know if you guys remember, but like remember several months ago, something woke me up outside of my apartment. It was like the strangest noise ever, and then all of a sudden we could hear this. It was almost like a vacuum. And it was like, it lasted for, it was a while, like 45 minutes. I could go out, and I think I recorded for you guys to listen, and I was like, listen to this, what is this? And so to be able to go out there and hear that, I couldn't see anything, but I could definitely hear it, and my daughter heard it as well. So I had posted that, I think, on my Facebook or something. But so I definitely, and I do feel like we do have, all of us here that are starseeds, we do have connections to these different solar systems and star systems. And when we come here, of course, we kind of forget, but that doesn't mean that the beings that are out there, they haven't forgot us. So they're close, they're near, they're letting us do our earthly experience, and but they're there still supporting us. And I feel like it's just like God. If you want to call on God to come help you, he's right there to help. If you want to call on your ancestors, they're right there to help. If you want to call on some, extraterrestrial beings to come help, they all come, because they're all in that same vibration together, I feel like. And I know, Adam, you and I had taken like that test that said like, which one are you more compatible with, or what star system are you from, or it was something like that, or what. And I know you got, I've taken several different, and I've gotten different answers with different ones, but
yeah, Arcturian. I got Arcturian. You guys never heard this before, but I listened to this morning, and I just got to tell you that I want to get your like honest opinion live on YouTube when you hear this. And my cat is sitting on my lap too, so you might see a reaction from her. So just stop and listen to this for a second. So that's the highest pitch. I don't know what was your reaction when you first heard that? Just curious.
The highest pitch for what?
Just there, it goes into different tones, but what did you guys think when you heard that first?
It just sounded like trying to communicate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a communication tool for sure with the ETs. I don't know, when I first did it this morning, like I got like this jolt of energy through me. It was like I was like singling them, hey, listen, I'm ready to communicate with you.
Well, they say they live inside Mount Shasta. Which
Yeah, that's what this is, Mount Shasta. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I was there a couple of years ago, and I had some local men take me to the spot where supposedly you could go inside Telos, which is the city in there.
Mhm.
And the story is that there are extraterrestrials that have lived there forever. And if you're of the right frequency, they might take you into Telos.
Nice.
And there are stories of people that have visited inside there, but they're good aliens.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
There
that was from Shasta.
Yeah, that was the exact recording from Mount Shasta.
Oh wow, how interesting.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
after-
like right in between us. Like we could meet.
That would be super fun. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I got like a jolt of energy too. That was the 1st thing that like it like definitely like was a vibration inside of my chest.
Mhm.
But I didn't know what it was. It's like screeching. So I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, that's what I felt at first too. But after you start to listen to it, you just feel this vibration, this energy shift almost with you.
Well, there's a Canadian named Paul Hellyer who's in his 90s now, but he's given many talks on how the aliens are with us and they've helped us. And they would actually be giving us a lot more technology if we would just stop doing the war thing.
Yeah.
Because they have been instrumental in bringing us a lot of the amazing technology that we have. I mean, have you heard of the Alice computer and the looking glass where you can see the future? That was alien technology. And they say this computer, Alice, the med beds.
The med beds, yes. I can't wait for those. They're supposed to be coming out like spring.
Right.
And it's gonna like eliminate every sickness and illness and disease and everything, like Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, like all of these things that have been plaguing humans for a long time, even diabetes. I mean, I'm so amazed and hopeful and thankful, and I can't wait to see, because I take care of seniors, and so I get to see how much pain they're in each day, and so it'd be really cool that they wouldn't have to suffer that with those things anymore.
Yeah, there's also the technology for unlimited power source, right? So it looks about like the size of a battery that would get rid of every telephone wire, every power wire that you ever see, and you would just like plug it in next to your fuse box. You would disconnect it from the power grid, and you would just have it there, and it has infinite amount of power, and so it works off the draw of energy that's coming out. So you can either use it for one light bulb, and it would just give enough power out for that. Or if you had like the biggest draw you could possibly imagine, like if you had like the Griswold like a house, when he had all those lights on there, and you just see he turns it on and the power grids are going crazy. If you had that kind of big draw, it would be like that, where it would just be able to keep up with it. And we never need any of that stuff ever again. You just think about all this wonderful stuff, and if you're not connected with this, and you want to get out of that 3D world of war and famine and disease and all this stuff that they've created, pollution and destruction and everything that they've done, and they've done it purposely. Like, this is by design that they've done this, to keep the sheep in line and to keep us fearful. When the part that, one of the other things in the movie is Stephen Greer If you don't know, he had a near-death experience. And with that, he saw the entire charades that were going on. And so he was actually taken into a room by CIA agents in a hotel room, and he was threatened. And he let them say their piece. And he said, listen, you guys can't say anything to me that scares me. I'm not afraid anymore. I've had many near-death experiences. I know what this game is all about. You can't kill me. You can't pay me off. I'm truly free. And by the end of the conversation, they admittedly said, we envy you because we cannot get out of this. We are indebted to life for this. And we truly, truly look at you, and we are so jealous that you have this and we don't. And the government agencies know this, and they know that there's nothing they can do. That's why he's not dead, because he's truly not fearful of death. And if you know what death is, death, when they say go to the light, we've all heard that. That's part of their game. When you go to the light, you get recycled back into the system. And guess what? You're afraid at that point. If you don't go to the light, you now know, and you're no longer part of their system. You now know how to beat their system. And that's part of their big overall thing. And the people that are very well connected. And the reason that we even know this, let's just be honest, is that we're vibrating at a much higher level. We can discern from the lies, and we can understand the truths. And when someone is telling me a lie now, I get this horrible, yucky feeling through me. My intuition just kicks in, and I'm like, no, like you're outright lying to me. You can tell me this good story, but you're outright lying to me. When someone's telling me the truth, I get my Kundalini energy just flowing like crazy, and I just feel this vibration in me saying, yes, this is truthful. Yes, this is the thing. Yes, 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 yes.
You know, it's crazy. When Amanda was talking, I wonder if that's why people are dying right now, because if these med beds are coming out, right, and all the diseases are going to be gone, then it's like, it's time to get out, right? If you don't want to stay here. So that's really interesting. And then, have you guys seen the movie Soul? It just came out. It's like a Disney movie.
No.
It's interesting because if you have Disney Plus, it's on Disney Plus. But it's about a guy who, like, he basically dies. He falls in a hole, and he doesn't want to go to the light. He doesn't want to like die. He wants to come back to his body. And so like he's going up the elevator to go to the light, and he jumps off, and he ends up being like a mentor to like these like souls coming to the earth. And so I don't know, I thought that was cute, but it's interesting because as you're talking, it's like even like the Disney movie is like, don't go to the light.
Yeah, it's out there. Okay, well, I hope that you guys liked this, and if you did, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the video, subscribe to our channel. If you got questions, you even want to just join our online chat platform, please do that. We'll put a link there for you to join into, and let's just start the conversation. Let's get the vibration going. If you really want to get to the fifth dimension, I think this was a gift that was kind of given out, and I'm just spreading the word. That's all I'm doing. If it's for you, great. If it's not for you, then totally cool too. I know where I'm going, and I know that, I'm here as a teacher to bring it to the next level and simplify it for people. And that's kind of my superpower. And I hope that you decide to join and become part of this amazing community that we're creating through Acorn Life Mastery. So any final words?
Yeah, I'd love to see more people join too. Maybe they've had experiences like some of us have had. And I know it's great to be with like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
especially when you're in lockdown.
Yes.
Right, and have those kind of conversations. Because
Yeah.
a lot of people are like us, they can't have those conversations with their family. So we're lucky that we have the ability to have each other, and I can have that conversation with my heart. but it's a lot of people out there who cannot have that conversation with their family members.
True.
So this, if you're that person that you would love to talk about this kind of stuff and you don't have anybody to talk to, reach out to us. We'd love to have you join our group.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Well, everyone have a safe night, and don't worry about wearing masks and COVID-19, because in my eyes, it's all complete bullshit. And I'm just going to say it. And I don't care if you like it or don't like it, but that's my belief. And if I could not wear masks, I wouldn't. I'm not going to wear the muzzle as much as I possibly can. So just keep your vibration high and focus on what you want, and keep heading towards ascending to the fifth dimension, because it's exciting. I'm getting so excited. Amanda posted something in our group. What was it, really quick? I can't even remember, but it was just so inspiring. I just loved it.
Did I send in the group or like a
I think you sent it to me, right?
Okay, so that one, hold on, I gotta find you. It was good. I could read it if you want me to.
Yeah, go ahead, read it really quick.
Okay, here you are. Oh, okay, so I got this from a friend. It just said, this is from the ninth D Arcturian Council. It says, we are very excited about what lies ahead for humanity. We are excited to witness you stepping into your power more. And we are excited to see how you will fit in with the pre-existing galactic community and of all the beings and the star systems by it. We are eager to witness how you will change as a society and as individuals. When you are taught how to access portals, energy centers, grid lines, and so much more. We are going to be watching with tremendous interest as you grow and evolve into your higher selves. And I got so excited when I read that. I was like, oh, I have to send it to Adam, because we were just talking about it. And he and I did the little meditation yesterday. We were doing some energy work together, and we felt guided to do some, together, do some of that meditation. And as we were meditating, I had this feeling of, for my chest up, just kind of like uplifted, and it came higher. And then I got really dizzy in my head. So I know like energies were changing. And then, so yeah, so be aware also when you're having some of these things that, I mean, a lot of people are having symptoms right now, but it's because you are changing physically, and your body is getting more crystalline. You're having more of that crystalline body. And so a lot of us are experiencing a lot of physical symptoms. We've talked about before on this show, like headaches, migraines, dizziness, and the migraines aren't just like your typical migraine. These are very different migraines. Usually medicine doesn't help, and they're just upgrades that you have to go through, or downloads. But I know in my experience, the migraines usually kind of go all over. So it's like it'll be like this way, and then like the temples in the back of my head, and then like, I mean, they're just all over. So they're not like your typical migraine where you have like one pain in one area. But and a lot of times people are feeling nauseous right now too. Or yesterday I was doing some work at my computer, and I had this overwhelming feeling of sadness. This sorrow just came over me. And I was working with Pamela earlier today, and Colette was there, and we were talking about maybe it was grief. And I'm like, yeah, maybe it was grief. Like, but grief is a part of that sadness. And so we are changing, and we are purging all of this stuff out of us. So it's really important to just be aware of how you're feeling, because it may not even be your emotions that you're feeling. You could be picking up on humanity's or the earth's feelings, or whatever, right? So and Colette's really good about asking, is this mine? Like, is this mine, or is this somebody else's, right? Who does this belong to? Does this belong to me, or is this from somebody else? So just being aware of those things, and keeping your vibration high. Because yesterday I felt like my vibration, I felt like, was pretty high until that wave of sorrow came over me. And then I got so tired that I couldn't keep my eyes open. It was in the middle of the day, and I had to go lay down. So I must have been, purging and releasing energetically. So I don't know if anybody else has been feeling like that, but it's good to be able just to talk to you guys about that, because like Pamela said, we don't always have other people to talk to about these things that we're going through. And of course, in this channel, that's why we created this channel, is to invite you guys to come and have a conversation with us, and to be your true authentic self. You don't have to hide yourself from us. I mean, we're putting ourselves out there, and we truly do want the best for everybody, for our highest and best good. And if we can help you evolve, we'd like to see how you guys evolve as well, just like the ninth dimensional Octarians would like to see us evolve as well. So that's all I have to say.
All right. Well, everyone have a good night. Hope you like this. Hit like, subscribe. Please join us if you want to come and join us live and you want to do an interview with us. We'd love to interview you. We'd love interviewing all people and all things. No judgments, no nothing. Just a pure fun interview. And if you want to ascend to the fifth dimension and you want more support and help, join us in Acorn Life Mastery in our private group that we have in there, completely uncensored, and we can talk about whatever we want instead of this stupid social media censoring bullshit that goes on. So